Hi, and welcome to the ComSpark Magazine interview series. My name is Kelly Stone, and I'm a regional sales manager with Logarithm. We're partnering with ComSpark today for a series of interviews. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Brian Willett. He's with Lexmark International and the Chief Security Officer there. Hello, Brian. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks so much for joining us. You've had a very long and successful career at Lexmark, which is very fortunate in this industry, right?
It is.
So tell me, how has that tenure helped in your progression in your career?
Well, so you say it's long. I've been there 23 years, which is a long time. However, it seems to have flown by. But, when I took this role about 4.5 years ago now, I needed to move fast. And one of the great things about being at Lexmark this long is I had a good understanding of the processes and the procedures that we had within the business, had an excellent understanding of the products that we offered. And most importantly, I knew the people. When there were concerns, when there were risks, when there were initiatives that we had that we were trying to drive, I knew the people that I needed to get in touch with to build support and drive those forward. So that's been huge. That allowed me to really hit the ground running instead of going to a new role and having to do a 30, 60, 90 type of transition where you're trying to understand and then build a strategy and then deploy the strategy. So that was big.
Absolutely, I can understand. That is a huge advantage, right? Yes. So what are some of the projects that are on your plate today that you're most excited about?
Well, there's a long list of projects that we've been very excited about, but currently we continue to build out our Zero Trust initiative. We've got an endpoint compliance program that's going on because we went to remote work, VPN and network access controls on VPN and for systems that are connecting to our network. Been very proud about our security awareness program and our privacy awareness programs. One of the big culture changes that we made when I got into this role was really enlisting the help of the employee population, the user base, and getting their support for helping us identify odd things that might be going on in our environment. And that's been one of our best to kind of say censor in our environment to see what's going on. Outside of the technical controls that we do have. And, as a kind of a badge of honor, our privacy program actually won a CSO 50 award for its privacy awareness campaign. So that's an area that I'm really proud of. And then supply chain security. We have invested quite a bit in the security of our supply chain to ensure that we're delivering authentic products to our customers. And so that's a great collaborative effort that has occurred across many business areas to make sure that when we're designing the product, when we're manufacturing the product, and when we're operating it, whether it integrates with IT systems or not, that it's done securely. So that's another very collaborative effort that I'm very proud of.
Absolutely. So, we do hear the buzzword of IoT. When you talk about the security of that supply chain, does that kind of fall in that overall category?
Yeah, it does. We have, we meaning Lexmark has had a strong focus on supply chain security because somewhat out of necessity. That is a growing area of focus for the U.S. government, and as they've increased their focus, we have had to ensure that what we deliver is authentic. And as I said before, it's a holistic effort. You have to make sure that the software that you incorporate into your products is secure and untainted. You have to make sure that the silicon that you decide to put in your product is untainted, meaning no extra gates in it that are going to potentially cause a backdoor in the customer's environment. And in the manufacturing environment, you have to make sure that the manufacturer is building what you designed. So it very much is, and it's a huge focus for us, for our customers, for the government. And then one other thing I throw in there, when it comes to IoT, when you throw in that particular terminology, the challenge we have in the IoT space today is companies will go and release a product and they don't maintain it. They don't release updates for it. And that's what's causing a lot of the regulation that's out there today, where it's requiring companies to start doing that. That's something we do and take a lot of pride in is making sure that we are constantly monitoring the software that's in our product, looking for vulnerabilities and releasing updates for those.
Absolutely. Being in security analytics at Logarithm, I can certainly understand how important that is, and understanding, how we need to constantly be vigilant in that effort. So congratulations, Brian, on your CSO 50 award. That's great. Congratulations. I did want to highlight that. So describe some of the other challenges in driving the business priorities and those challenges that you face. You shared some of them. Are there additional ones that you'd like to share?
Well, I mean, the biggest challenge with the business priorities is, as I said, we have done a great job of raising the awareness within the business of security and privacy. And the challenge now is, as with every business, there's a balance there between how much do you invest in risk aversion versus how much do you invest in potential revenue generating opportunities. And so the biggest challenge is justifying the spend on the security side. Now, because not just myself, my team has done an excellent job of raising awareness and building relationships with the areas of the business. Generally speaking, we have a lot of support within Lexmark to make the right investments for the business. And then the challenge is, what is the right investment? But the second challenge is, unfortunately, the pandemic. Much like every other company, the pandemic, it has challenged revenue for about every business, and we're not immune to that either. And so that certainly reduces the available expense dollars there are to support projects. And so again, you have to make sure you prioritize appropriately and you bring forward the most impactful projects that are going to lower the risk for the business.
Absolutely. The global pandemic really forced IT into this digital transformation. I've heard it described, and I do believe that, because we had to make so many rapid changes so quickly. So what were some of the challenges? Did you already have a remote workforce and have those tools in place, or did you have to make some rapid advances in your infrastructure to gear up for that digital transformation?
Yeah, we had been investing in digital transformation for some time. For us, it's a process, it's a journey, not necessarily a destination. And
I love that saying.
Yeah,
that's one of mine too, and it's exactly. Very key.
Yeah, exactly. And then honestly, that's true of everything that my team works on. But for digital transformation, Lexmark had already invested in getting out of our data centers, so we don't have data centers anymore. We're fully in the cloud. And of course, that allows us to pivot quickly when it comes to things like the pandemic, where you have to move your workforce remote. So we went from about 1,500 remote users to 9,000 pretty much overnight. I remember because I'm on the crisis management team, and I remember, I think it was March 12th, we went fully remote. And doing that overnight, we were positioned extremely well from a general system capability to be able to support the remote workers. But the challenge was, we have workforce in a lot of countries, and in particular, large workforce in the Philippines, India, Hungary, as examples. And you have varying internet capabilities in each of those countries. So, we had to work through the challenges of individuals having, spotty internet and getting them up and running through whether it be hotspots or other means. But we also had to move work around as well in order to deal with that type of challenge. One of the other key investments we did make that we had to rapidly change is our VPN infrastructure. We had already, luckily, we had a project in flight to upgrade our VPN infrastructure. And we moved what was a 3-month project into a 2-week project to get that upgraded immediately to support the increased user demand or load on that infrastructure. And then other investments we had made had been on our endpoints, on our workstations. And this isn't different than your modern endpoint monitoring capabilities, but a lot of companies have not necessarily invested in some of your modern endpoint monitoring capabilities, but we had, and it's given us that ability to monitor our users in their home and be able to react quickly. With the mind or the focus on protecting not only Lexmark and our systems, but also our employees on their home network as well. So, yes, we've done quite a bit of investment there, and we continue.
That's great. Good. Constantly moving forward. And, the pandemic for some of my clients in different areas is they have had an uptick in some business. So some particular companies have spurred new growth items or new growth. In particular, it's been driven, because of the change of the pandemic and the change of the workforce. Have you been able to experience any of those growth factors within Lexmark's core business?
So the core business, unfortunately, has been a little challenged, and that's because there's fewer people in offices, and so we have fewer pages being printed on our products. So that has certainly been an area of challenge, but it has driven interest in other solutions of ours, such as our cloud solutions and our A4 products. So our smaller printers, that's our sweet spot, and we have seen increased demand in that area. But when you look at Lexmark, we are in a slowly declining market. Printing is a declining market. So outside of printing, we are continuing to look at opportunities to leverage the knowledge or the capabilities that we have learned through our print and print management services, which has led us to looking at things like being able to leverage our cloud capabilities to help partners or customers with their digital transformation, or leveraging technologies that we have designed into our products and trying to leverage them in different market spaces and adjacencies, let's say, to where Lexmark is operated today.
Yeah, I can certainly see how the home office has created an uptick in those small printers. I certainly had to bolster a lot of pieces of my network infrastructure and my printers and all those capabilities because I had not previously worked from home either. So I'm sure I'm contributing to that uptick in that type of market. So tell me a little bit, Brian, you mentioned some of your international business, and you do business all around the world, and specifically security compliance. I wanted to hone in on that area. So do you have specific like DoD business or with data privacy and CCPA? Are those impacting Lexmark?
Oh, absolutely. We operate worldwide. We're constantly monitoring the various regulations that are going on worldwide. GDPR, of course, has been a driver for us for many years. In the U.S., CCPA had been a driver. Most recently in Brazil, you got the LGPD. In China, we have the China cybersecurity laws. Again, back in the U.S., we've got CMMC that is coming around very shortly. And then you have both in the U.S. and we're seeing in various states right now, IoT laws that are either in flight or have been passed. And so, yes, we are watching all of those.
Mm-hmm. It is constant battle. Can you describe some of the zero trust principles that you've incorporated into the business through IT operations? You touched on them a little earlier as well, but I was wondering if you would share more and have some advice for others in terms of incorporating those zero trust principles.
Yeah, so we've invested in it in a couple different areas. Identity, we wanted to make sure that we could validate who's authenticating to our system. So we deployed multi-factor authentication continues to be an area of investment, honestly. You implement something in the identity space, and the bad actors are going to constantly try to find ways to get around it. So it's an area we continue to invest in. Authorization or access to data, for instance. Data governance is an area that we have been investing in as part of our privacy program. But as part of that, it's ensuring that an individual identity only has access to the systems and data that they need to have access to. Our corporate network access, we implemented network access controls on our corporate network that tied into both our VPN and, of course, the corporate network. But it tied in as well to endpoint compliance. So only systems which are compliant and registered with our CMDB can even join our network. Monitoring, we've been investing heavily in our ability to monitor all aspects of the systems that are connected to our network, with the ability to get better alerting, more intelligent alerting on the activities, so that with the resources we have in our security operations team, they can quickly get to the most urgent items and investigate those quickly. So just a few examples of some of the areas that we've been working on.
That's great information. Thank you for sharing, Brian.
Yep.
I don't have any further questions. If there's anything that you would like to touch on that I've forgotten.
Oh, I don't know. I could spend hours probably touching on lots of things. So I guess we better leave it there.
Absolutely. Well, Brian, a huge thank you on behalf of myself and Logarithm and ComSpark for taking time out to share some of your insights. We certainly appreciate your time, Brian. The visitors visiting the site can see this and other interviews on comspark.tech. Thanks so much, Brian. Have a great day.
Thank you.